read the chat?
Yeah.
Oh.
Hola.
Hola.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to give everybody a little bit of time, 5 minutes or so, to hop on. We know some of you were watching the live stream today that Mariana had with the insurance broker, talking mostly about Lakeside Medical. So, sometimes it's hard to dedicate an hour or so of your time to things like this. So, people need a break, go eat dinner.
Yeah.
Have some tacos.
Have a life.
Have a life.
I mean, go listen to these two talk.
I'm like the first person to admit that I cannot sit for like an hour or more and watch these things live. I try sometimes I can watch about an hour.
We've done that with Ernie's and
we have
Mariana's.
But I bounce around so much. It's not an ADHD sort of thing. It's just I'm multitasking and I got so many things I want to do. So it's hard. Hey there, Jesse. See ya. Hello, Papa, Landon, Diane. From Philly. I know Philly. Let's see here. Lisa. Oh, thank you, Lisa. Hairstyle. Yes, I got it cut. I needed to. It's so hot here. And it had no life. And I damaged it. I think I dyed it like two times. So I had lifted color, dyed color. Just, it was time. And happy birthday. Thank you, Diana. Oh, man. You say Philly, and now I'm thinking about cheesesteaks. I need a cheesesteak so bad, so bad, so bad. Hola, Anived. Let's see here. Oh, hey. Yeah, from South. I missed that, Landon. Yes, Southern California. Very cool. And let's see. Oh, all right here. So I wonder what y'all were thinking of Ernie's video last Friday. I'm trying to remember which video. I'm so sorry. Let me think about this.
I'm drawing a blank, but that's
we catch up with them, but I'm not perfectly up to date. So now I got to think about which video that was.
Give us a hint.
Yeah, because
otherwise we'll be sitting here for minutes going.
The last couple of videos I saw from Ernie, one of them was about helping the van people try to get their van back, or at least help raise money for them.
Yeah, because I don't think you're going to get the van back.
No, they're not.
No, and they're going to end up, if they did, they spend more than what the van's worth. So, I mean, it's one of those words.
I'm trying to think of what other video I recently saw of Ernie's. I got to think about it, unless you're posting it. Hey. Oh, hi, Chris. Hola. Here's a good question here. Blanca. Hola. Do you live in Mexico full time? Yes, we do. Traveling, though. We don't have a long-term rental in a specific static location. We wanted to explore and see other areas of Mexico before we make that decision, because I think one of the worst things you could possibly do is lock yourself into a place thinking you're going to like it, and then you don't like it.
And the other part of that was, I mean, we had only seen Riviera Maya.
Mm-hmm.
Before we made the decision of coming down here and going, we're moving. And then we looked, and suddenly Mexico became a very big country. When all we were concentrating on before was the Riviera Maya, well, that's a small strip. But when we started looking at Mexico as a whole, it was like, holy crap, that's a big country. And
with a little bit of everything in it.
Yeah. And so then we went, well, how in the world would we pick the right spot to live? And there really wasn't a way of us being able to do that without the proverbial boots on the ground and going, all right, we're going to have to go there and experience it. And, 19 months in, we now know that there's a lot of things that we do like. And there's a lot of things that we thought, being by the beach may be good, but I think we're finding more that the beach may be a vacation spot. But living full time
for us.
For us,
Yeah.
no. Well, that's all we can talk about is
Right.
our, But for us, unless we were to hit Puerto Vallarta or someplace, up by Sean, we may suddenly go, oh, we love it here. We
don't know.
we
We'll find out eventually all the places we wanted to try, and then we'll pick a place. And even then, sometimes you're in a place you think it's going to be perfect, and then you're there for a year, and you're like, nope, I got to get out of here. It happens. So, hi, Cindy, and you guys, hi, Andy, hello, hola. Thank you for joining us. And you guys are all, look, thank you for the birthday wishes. And Blanca, Cindy and Blanca. And I am, yesterday I turned
29 again.
29. 55.
I wasn't going there.
There's only a few times in your life, maybe more if you live long enough to see it, where you've got double digits, twinning digits. I got a 5 right now.
Every 11 years.
I know. It doesn't feel like 55. Of course, I have the hard reminder that I can't retire for another 7 years.
10 years for you.
7 if I do 62.
You aren't eligible to do 62.
I don't know if I'm eligible to do 62.
I do.
Oh. Well, what the heck? You just ruined my birthday. Thank you.
Well, your birthday was yesterday, so that's why I could tell you today.
Oh, Lord. And I had this meme that said that, I'm too young to retire. I'm too poor to retire. I'm too fat to strip. So I just keep moving on. I just keep doing it.
Okay.
It's a funny meme. Anyway, hi, Carol and Wilfredo. Let's see here. Papa, what you got here? Mark and Paulette stayed with us overnight last week on their cross-country trip. They ate all our food, drank all our beer, stopped up the toilets. Oh, yeah, I can see Mark doing that. Mark with a C.
Oh, okay.
Not you.
I thought you were going, I can see me
You know
drinking
what,
the beer,
though?
but
I asked those 2 people to pick me up a box of Dolly Parton Krispy Kreme donuts when they come back over the border and throw them in the freezer, and I think they laughed at me.
well, they would probably be about like bricks and hockey pucks by the time they got back
I
to
don't care. I want some Dolly donuts.
Yeah.
I looked it up. They're
Right.
only in the U.S.
His live was about staying safe.
About staying safe. But he's done so many of those. Dan, did we miss it?
Well, I mean,
Did we miss it?
I don't know, but Ernie has done so many of them, and his message is always the same. You don't do stupid things. You plan. You get your information in advance. It's.
I guess we're going to have to go back and watch it. To be honest, can't really give an opinion. I mean, Ernie's pretty level-headed, and he's right. His message is usually
Consistent.
very consistent. So
avoid the hot spots. Plan ahead. Do your homework. Make sure that you go in the places that are going to be the least, offer the least risk. So.
Well, thank you, and look at that. Even you get a compliment, baby.
Thank you, Claudia.
He tried to get a haircut today.
I did.
Can't seem to figure out when the barbershop's open here.
Well, I think I went during lunchtime, so it was sort of like,
Yeah.
Okay, try again tomorrow.
No, Carol, he did not bake me a cake, but we did go to the mall the day before, and I got to have, honest to God, my first authentic made-to-order sushi that I have had in Mexico. Now, if you like sushi, it's really difficult, even at the higher-end grocery stores, to get sushi that's anything other than a California roll. And a California roll is basically cream cheese and avocado and then the sushi rice. And, it's about it. It's really hard to get authentic sushi. This place at the mall, I paid more than would be a typical Mexican meal, but honest to God, it was worth it. It was like $13 US dollars. warm, crunchy roll with crab. Oh, so divine.
I'm glad you
so
liked it.
good. So happy.
So, all right, he was basically saying,
got it, pulled it up. And you have to,
and he's right. I mean, but if you think about it, it's the same thing on the other side of the border too. I mean, you always have to be aware of your surroundings.
Yeah.
Have a plan. Don't expose yourself to doing stupid things where you're going to be put in a risky situation. You know, are there guarantees in life? No. You sort of have to just go, you know what? I'm going to do everything I can to minimize the risk and then live my life, but I'm also not going to turn off the, put the blinders on. You have to be aware of the surroundings. So, yeah, I mean, that's been Ernie's statement from when we first started watching him was, plan, and be aware of your surroundings.
Be aware and be diligent.
Yep.
And he's right. It is dangerous. There is cartel activity. It can be the Wild West depending on where you are. The idea is to stay out of those areas, or to at the very least be aware enough that you can observe something's not quite right. Get out of the area.
Case in point, when we leave San Cristobal to go to Huatuco, we are going to be going through a spot that is got a little bit of an elevated safety concern, and it's not a big area. It's just, as a matter of fact, it's basically a small town, and we're going to be on the Carretera. But you can rest assured the gas tank will be full before we hit that area, so that there is keep
gas
right
tank
on,
will be full, money will be hidden.
Keep right on moving, keep going. So doing the little thing, and that's all it really takes is just doing the small things and being aware. So
I gotta get the traffic cam back on the windshield.
Yeah, the heat down here was so bad that we got in the car and the traffic cam, the dash cam had dropped again.
The dash cam had a sucker type disc on it, and it cracked and broke. I've got double-sided windshield type glue things that I can put it up with, but the sucker thing is gone. So I'm just going to have to just permanently mount it to the windshield.
Well, permanently until the heat gets it again, then it drops, and then we just do it again. So, yeah.
I got plenty of those rings.
Yeah.
I'll make it work. And yeah, new year, new hair. Yes, thank you. Thank you. So here's more on this. Ernie's safety video in reference to the happenings in Ensenada.
Again,
we didn't hear his opinion about what happened. I would like to go back and watch that. I'd like to get his assessment.
I can almost guarantee that it was going to be, you don't put yourself in remote areas. You don't, you're making yourself a target when you do things like that.
Sunday, we weren't home Sunday, were we? We were at Marimba Park on
We were
Sunday.
at Marimba Park.
Yeah, there you go. So we didn't even know about the live. We actually went to Marimba Park. Guys, so quaint. So quaint. I tried to get some really interesting video shots, and one of the things I was mesmerized by was this elderly couple, I would say in their 70s, possibly 80s. And the woman had a ankle-length, traditional, colorful Mexican dress on with a band of flowers in her hair, and her dance partner was wearing a zoot suit. I kid you not, with the long chain hanging down in front of the pants, with one exception. His pants were not pegged. They weren't the type that were super baggy and pegged, but he had the chain, he had the long draped jacket, he had a fedora with the feather, and they were just doing their little two-step marimba. It was just so, so fun to watch. And I walked up and I told them both that they looked great, and they were so friendly to me. And
well, what else is new? I mean,
they were awesome.
So,
so yeah, that's where we were Sunday. So we would have missed that. Let's see. Hi. Hey, Andy. Hola. Let's we live vicariously through you guys. There's always an open door when you have an availability.
When you need the fix.
Yep. We've always got the room. We try to always have a spare bedroom just in case we have friends that want to visit. And Mrs. Pawpaw says your hair's fabulous. Thank you. Hey guys, look, I brought these out just to show you because I'm like this. I'm daring. At the mall, we stopped by Sally Beauty Supply, which I just love the fact that there's a Sally's in Mexico almost everywhere we go.
I don't think we've hit a mall yet that hadn't had a Sally.
And I got pink and purple hair dye. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So usually I'll do a lighter strip of hair and I'll lift the color and make it purple. But I thought I'd try some different things with that. So that'll be fun. Let's see here. Heading to Puerto Vallarta Friday to take delivery of our condo. Congratulations.
Congrats.
That's awesome.
We will be there sometime. I'm not sure when we're getting a PV, but it is in the rotation.
I don't look like double nickels at all. Thank you. I appreciate that. I think it's because I don't sit outside getting sun all day.
What are you trying to say?
That the sun will wrinkle your skin. I'm just... I think it's because I'm chubby. Chubby people always look a little bit younger, and then they lose weight, and then they look really old. Double nickels looks good on you. Thank you, Annie. Oh gosh, Claudia. Hey, thank you so much, guys. See, retire when you want. We're taking the leap in 25 at 42.
There you go.
Well, but you got to have some money to live on. That's the thing. So I really can't. If I could get my Social Security early, man, shoot, I'd be done. I don't want to work no more. But honestly, we don't.
That's got to see what.
Yeah, we don't have a nest egg. And when I am on contract, I was hoping I could save up, and we could use that money to buy a house, and then we wouldn't have to worry about payments. It'll come.
Yep.
But I can't retire yet. Can't do it yet. I keep my fingers crossed that my union will retire us at 60. There's a rumor they're considering it. That'd be cool.
Hey.
Yes, it's true. The dash cam couldn't handle the heat. This is the second time since we've been here that this has happened. Now, I will be fair and say that the first time it happened, it had been mounted on the windshield for a good 4 years or more. It had been a while, and the glue just came undone one day.
The age. I mean, it lost elasticity and the heat and everything else.
The glue just came loose. But in this case, the actual sucker cup that's part of that mechanism cracked, and I can't put it back together. And there's no point trying. It's not going to work with glue.
We had a day off today heat-wise. It was only 96 down here. So,
And 60, 70% humidity. Hola, Benito. Oh, okay. Hey. Okay, Diana. I have a question. What kind of medical insurance do they have in Mexico? Well, Diana, let me tell you, Diana, it's insurance in Mexico is a rough topic. Mexican insurance will not cover you if you have any minor pre-existing conditions. So if you've had high cholesterol, if you've had diabetes, if you've been on high blood pressure medicine, you pretty much can't get Mexican public insurance. You can't get coverage. And if you do get private insurance, your rates are really high. And there's I don't know exactly yet because we don't have it. But I think there is an age limit of how long they will actually cover you when you can get it. Now, there was a video today by another YouTuber that was talking about there's a medical group in
Lakeside Medical Group.
They're in Ajijic, Lake Chapala area. And they kind of formed their own PPO type thing. And they work with very, very specific insurance plans if you have insurance. And they do some kind of PPO type payments. I can't get into the details because I didn't pay a whole lot of attention simply because they're limited in the areas where they cover. They're not nationwide. But they're a very, very good and highly recommended group if you're in the areas where they have coverage. Other than that, self-insure, pay cash. and your regular maintenance and annuals and ordinary care is so affordable.
Yeah,
You don't need insurance.
We basically are we're using the Nomad Safety Wing insurance, and we're using that for catastrophic events like broken arms.
Like I got a broken arm
and
a month ago,
and then
2 months ago.
self-insuring for the common things, which
okay, so
knock on wood so far, other than maintenance medications and doing an annual set of labs.
Yeah, our labs, like just to give you an idea, we got full set of labs,
full
like chemistry, hematology, urinalysis, all of that, and it cost us like $65 each.
Mm-hmm.
And they got it done that day and sent us the results. I mean, that's amazing without insurance. If you go to the doctor for a simple checkup, it might cost you maybe $20 or less. If you go to the pharmacy for maintenance medication, it might cost you $20 or less for a 3-month supply. You don't really need insurance for those things. I went to an orthopedic doctor to get my cast removed. His base price was 800 pesos, which is about $50. But because he had to remove the cast and work really hard to do it, we ended up paying about $1,200, right?
Yeah.
So what, $70 for a specialist? Incredible. And he sent us next door to get an x-ray just to verify that everything healed right. The x-ray cost us 520 pesos, so about $30, and it was done in 5 minutes. Like, this is without insurance. It's just out-of-pocket cash. And going to the emergency room, getting x-rays twice, a CT scan, full care, operating room, anesthesiologist, calling in a specialist, blah, 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 $5,500.
In a tourist area.
Cash in a tourist area. And because this is catastrophic, our Nomad Safety Wing insurance is going to reimburse almost all of that.
Yep.
He even passed out, and they didn't charge. They put a blood pressure cuff on him for an hour and didn't charge us anything.
I don't know what that was. That was too much tequila, whatever.
We're under the self-insure plan, but we have catastrophic coverage.
We're covered against anything major, but
we're not in that age group yet to consider, how to use Medicare here. It can be done, but we're not there yet, so we can't really talk about that. But we do know that insurance can be very expensive the older you get, and almost impossible to get if you have even the slightest pre-existing condition situation. So we pay cash.
Yep.
That's it. And it's cheaper than insurance in the States just to pay cash here. Do you have a timetable for how long you're on the road before deciding where your permanent place is?
We do.
You want to talk about that?
We have what now? Just about 2 years from now, we will be probably putting the last finishing touches on one of our last locations, because what we did is when we crossed the border, we gave ourselves 4 years, and we said we're going to travel these 30 cities in 4 years. And since we made that decision, we have made some slight alterations to the itinerary, and we went, we need a break. And so come December, which will be right at the 2-year mark, we're going to be spending 6 months in Querétaro just to recharge the batteries, see some friends, catch up with some people, and
eat.
And another thing is actually spend 6 months in one location, which we haven't done. And so, we're going to do that. Then we're going to pick it back up. We cut a few locations out here and there, but at about a year from now, just about a year from now, we will be resuming the travels. Because from here we go to San Cristobal de las Casas, then we go to Huatuco, then we go to Oaxaca, then we go to Puebla, and then we're going to be in Querétaro. So in San Cristobal is for 1 month, 2 months in Huatuco, 3 months in Oaxaca, 1 month in Puebla, and then 6 months in Querétaro.
And then it's westward.
And then it's westward from there. Yeah. And, we basically, it took us 3 days. we had all these cities, and it took me
A while.
a while to figure out a route that would minimize the amount of overnight drives that we had to do, because I wanted to make it as simple as possible. Driving on weekends, because I always have to figure that she might be working Monday through Friday. So, we have to be able to travel for a weekend, which means we only have a couple of days. So putting it all together in a timely manner, that took a while. And then it was, okay, now here's all the cities. We have this many months. And it literally took us 3 days, because the first couple times we were like, oh, okay, we're going to go here, we're going to go here, we're going to go here, we're going to go here. And we were about 2/3 of the way through the list, and we were like, oh shit, that's 4 months or 4 years already. Yeah. So then what we ended up eventually having to do was actually start at the front and the end, and sort of worked our way towards the middle, and kept going. All right, we did 3 at the end, 3 at the beginning. We now have this many months left. We have this many cities. And so we just sort of had to slowly work it to fit it, and then sort of trashed it all to give ourselves a change. But that was, again, all sitting on the other side of the border. When we were sitting in the U.S., we were full of piss and vinegar. We were like, yes, we could do all this. Then we got down here and went, whew, holy crap.
This is hard work.
This moving, this moving every month is like,
what are we thinking?
Wow,
No, there's good and bad that comes with it. There's benefits, there's cons, pros and cons. Hey, well, hola, Alisa Hawkins. I like this. Good evening and thank you. Thank you. There you go. No wrinkles on the balloon. So funny. It's true. I'm telling you, when you're plump and your skin is all puffy and pushed out nice and taut, and then you lose weight, it's like, yep. Hey, Jen. Hola. Whereabouts are you now?
Tuxtla Gutiérrez in Chiapas.
What are your thoughts on the water shortages going on there? Well, we're here in Oaxaca's got water shortages. And honestly, since we've gotten here, this has been a reoccurring theme at the end of every dry season. Yeah, mm-hmm. Right before rainy season. It's pretty obvious that
the month of April and May are the two that when it starts to get crunch time.
Yeah, and it's a serious thing because it happens in multiple places where we have been. They were on requested water restriction in San Luis Potosí last year. And we're hearing that Oaxaca is basically asking, they're on a water restriction. Mm-hmm. Was it Denise that said that somebody was going around asking them to conserve the amount of electricity they're using right now because it's so hot? I mean, there's this time of the year when it gets really, really warm and it's still really dry, the water shortages are a serious thing.
Well, I mean, you think back to last year at this time, we were in El Tejar, mm-hmm. and the river was waist deep.
Oh, yeah. People were walking across the river.
You could walk across this river, and we were told by, Jose Luis that when, the rainy season, it's up in the yard and further when it really floods. But, it's up and elevated. So it was down a lot. So
I guess I'm just thinking, because we move around so much and we're not in a permanent home yet, we don't really give it a lot of thought because we're not.
Well, we're not in the know.
We're not in the know, right?
Unless the host were to tell us,
right?
Hey, we're in a water shortage. Can you guys please do everything you can?
Right.
We wouldn't know.
It's really important for people. Hopefully, if they have cisterns and they're filling those cisterns, the Tanakas, and they're using the water sparingly. I'm not going to say we smell bad and we stink. We don't, but we shower sparingly. We don't water plants unless the host, like this host, asked us to. So we do water the plants here a few days a week. But other than that, we don't really run the water just to run it. It dishes
No.
occasionally. We're conservative anyway, because we never know where we are if they're having those issues.
Yeah, just be mindful is all we can really
I've
do.
actually gotten into the habit at times where I will wet down in the shower and I will turn the water off.
Not as long as it takes for that water to heat up.
But I'll turn the water
Yeah.
off to suds up, to shave, whatever, and then turn it back on to rinse.
In Merida, you could do that because that water's got hot so quick that it was like, here it takes a while for it to get warm.
I know it's a serious issue. Though.
Yes.
And I posted on our Facebook page a link, a video of a woman literally pleading for assistance. She had a dog shelter and over 45 dogs, and their well was dry. And they needed water for these dogs. And, people were coming and giving what they could, but that's sad.
And here we've actually gotten rain about once a week. So it may not always be a lot, but we have gotten rain. So, and there's been a couple times where it was pretty heavy, and we're right by the river. So
we're not in rainy season yet, though. I wonder what it's like here.
I get that. But what I'm saying is I don't think that this area of Mexico, because it's the rainforest area down here, that it's as bad as it is. Just the next state over is Oaxaca.
Yeah.
But I think with being where we're at here with the river, the lakes, and they got the reservoirs. And we saw the reservoir was down when we went across it, but it's a big lake and the river's flowing pretty well. So
the reservoir was low. I know from a scientific perspective that as the water table drops, you of course will have an increase in the solutes, the minerals and things that are naturally occurring in the water, and that's where you get some of this issue with the aquifers and stuff in central Mexico, where they have high levels of fluoride and arsenic and things like that. Those are naturally occurring minerals that
nothing to dilute.
That in a full water table, no big deal. But as that water table drops, those get concentrated, and then it becomes unhealthy. So bad news. I don't know what the answer is to that, unfortunately. And it's been so hot. Honestly. Even in Querétaro, it got hot. Doug, I checked into medical insurance, and besides the issues you mentioned, they also require us to pay for a long time before they provide significant coverage. Yes, that's true. Like they want you to establish the fact that you don't have ongoing issues.
And part of that is if you think about it, there has been a history of Americans coming down to Mexico for cheap medical, like dental and things like that, for decades. I had an uncle that had all of his teeth done, and I think that was like 1988, 89, something like that. And
Fred?
No, Uncle Ron. You never met him. He died before he came down and just got a full set of teeth, and it was like, hey, I'm going to Mexico, getting my teeth done, going back.
I said I wanted to get like a little mini facelift right here. Just a little. I don't like the jowls. Just saying. And Tom, Medicare, medical in Mexico is great. It is. Just pay the cash, and you have to pay it up front. Like my ER visit, we had to pay.
Yep.
So that said, if you have Medicare, just make a border run if you're concerned.
One thing to keep in mind on that, and Tom is correct, but primary care for your Medicare needs to be in the state that you live in or you're domiciled in, unless it is a life-threatening emergency. So, like in our case right now, we're in South Dakota. When it comes time for us to pick where we're going to permanently reside,
probably going to pick Texas.
Probably either Texas or Arizona, something like that, where yes, we can make a border run, and we would be in the correct state to do that. So, because I mean, I would not want to have to go back to have something done in South Dakota, as pretty as it is, in, I don't know, January. No.
I don't want to speak too much on the Advantage plans and HMOs and all that business, because I don't have that knowledge, and I would hate to say the wrong thing. I mean, if that's what it is,
Yep.
it is. You know, we're not experts in the whole medical plan
By any
biz.
stretch of the
Not at all,
imagination.
not at all. And there's lots of people out there doing videos on that, and brokers who can speak to that much better.
Yeah,
Mariana Lang had somebody today on Complete Mexico Relocation Guide, and his contact information's out there if anyone is interested in talking to him about their healthcare coverages.
That what you're talking about right there,
Yeah.
Doug, that's exactly what we're sort of leaning towards going, keeping, the safety wing, because it's running us $273 right now a month for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
And, in a couple of years, I actually turned 65, so I'm going to have to do the Medicare. But the good news is that'll be about the time that we're making our decision. So then we'll have to change domicile states and everything else. But
yes. And Gracias Azul, thank you. Okay, so Jesse, I see you talking a couple of about the insurance. Wait, up one what? It's still Jesse. So, yes, the name what?
Well, the insurance video, that was Mexican Relocation Guide.
What are you pointing at, honey?
Up one.
This?
Yes.
It's still Jesse. Okay, so I'm going to give you Complete Mexico Relocation Guide. They did a video today on YouTube. They were speaking to a broker who I believe works exclusively or a lot with Lakeside Medical. I joined in late just to watch the tail end of it.
From the discussion, he was part of Lakeside Medical.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know, because I caught it at the tail end. He is either a broker that works with Lakeside, or he is exclusively with Lakeside. I don't know. What I do know is that his name was mentioned and his contact information.
Yeah.
And he's the best person to talk to about Lakeside.
Yeah.
But Lakeside isn't available everywhere.
No.
And I don't know the ins and outs of how they work. A lot of people who live in the areas where they do service love them, absolutely love them, because they are affordable. They are an affordable option if you're in their area. And as Tom said, they may be more like an HMO sort of thing. I'm not sure. But I know they don't cover the areas we're in right now.
Well, and there's no point in us doing anything like that until we pick a home base, and then we go, okay.
Right. I mean, when we get to Lake Chapala area, I'm certainly going to look into them and maybe talk to them. I don't know. Maybe I'll do a video with them or not. I kind of get antsy about doing stuff like that we're not experts in, but maybe to interview someone. But the point being, I would like to learn more.
Well, yeah.
We just don't know if we're going to end up in a place where they service.
So. Well, we'd like to know more, and obviously a lot of you would like to know more as well. Yeah. So, once we get to the Lake Chapala IE area, we'll
sure thing.
We might know more.
And yes, look, Annie said it's so hot in Querétaro, it's record breaking. I heard that. 97. Yeah. And it's typically where we are about 103 to 105. And the humidity is anywhere between 20 and 50%. But today was low. It was like mid 90s today.
Okay. Go up one.
What did I
two.
miss?
You keep missing this one. And I keep going. You keep going. It's Jesse.
What am I missing?
Go down. You went too far. Right down one. That one.
No, she's talking. Jesse's talking to Doug. It's got nothing to do with us.
We can answer the question. Because that's what we do.
You go right ahead and you answer that question.
That is what the Nomad Safety Wing is for.
It's catastrophic.
It's catastrophic. And that would fall, something serious like that would fall under the Nomad Safety Wing, catastrophic. So that would give you, now, again, you're in Mexico. You're going to have to pay up front.
You got to pay cash up front. So the ultimate answer is, what are you going to do? You better have about $10,000 of reserve credit somewhere.
You got to have that basically self-insure long enough to get the claim money back. That's
I would write like mine was tourist area, $5,500 that we had to pay. We threw it on credit cards. But a heart attack or a stroke or something, you could be looking at $10,000
or more.
or more.
Yeah.
So you need to have that. You need to have that money available, or at least that credit limit available to cover that, because a lot of those plans are reimbursement plans, and it could take 90 days to get my cash back. So
Yeah, we'll find out.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we're at 6 weeks now.
I mean, it's being
So,
processed.
yeah, no, I'm just letting it,
Oh, let's see. I wanted to get to the topic at hand, and just I don't know. Oh, you're not late, Debbie. You're fine. Thank you for being here. And
what was
Doug,
the topic?
I know we're getting to the bottom, and then we're going to shift
Okay.
to the topic. I had a root canal last summer in Cozumel. A fraction of the cost it would have been in the U.S. Oh, sure.
Yeah.
And good care. And the dentist was my dentist was very complimentary of the work. A bit complicated. Okay. Well, that's good. And yeah, we're both looking at dental and eye exams probably when we get to Querétaro. We just figured it would be better.
So if you see the silver Kia SUV coming down the road, you might want to give us a little extra berth, So
Why?
because I haven't had my eyes checked in a while. Just
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, what's that got to do with your teeth?
no, the eyes part.
I didn't know that, but when I finally moved to Mexico, we will still use something like a traveling mailbox and keep a PA permanent address. Therefore, keep my primary dog regardless.
That's the one thing, Tom, is for the border run for Medicare, it does have to be
You have to get service in a state where you have your Medicare.
short of life saving.
Yeah.
If you are ambulatory in any way, they're going to ship you back to the state.
Oh, and it's warm in Lakeside as well. Goodness, it's just a heat wave all over.
It's May. It was like this last May. Think about it. Last
Yeah,
May
it
at
was.
this time we were
roasting.
in El Tejar, and wow.
Okay. So the topic at hand that we're like 42 minutes in and we haven't hit it yet. We basically wanted to talk about, things that if you were interested in moving to Mexico, things that would make that move a whole lot easier for you and would make a whole lot easier for you to adjust to life in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Basically.
I mean, the number one thing, if you are a couple, if you're single, you don't have to explain this, because once you make the decision, you're good.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are a couple, both parties have to buy in 110%.
Yeah.
You cannot drag an anchor down here who is hesitant, because
Hesitant, reluctant, miserable.
even has residual doubts in the back, because that just is, there's gonna be times it's gonna make you go, did I make the right move? And that's gonna creep in every once in a while. And if somebody is not 100% bought in on the whole process, when you do hit one of those periods where you sort of go, the hell were we thinking? Because it happens every once in a while.
Yeah.
You just sort of go, man, did we do the right thing?
Yeah.
And then the next day you're like, oh, hell yeah, we're fine. But when you hit one of those and you aren't 100% bought in, that's going to be the time where you're going to be going, it's time to go home.
I mean, like the stress levels are going to be higher than what you might be used to. Of course, it depends on how stressful your life was before you
It's a
got
different
here.
stress.
It's a different kind of stress because everything is new. Things are different. I mean, navigating the roads, learning how to drive,
Navigating the language.
navigating the language, different ways of shopping, even at a grocery store. It's a different experience. Just all of it. It's new, and it takes. It can be stressful, and it takes energy from you. And at the end of the day, I mean, you may love it. I'm not saying you don't.
No, it's exciting.
But at the end of the day, you're tired. I mean, you're tired, and you need to just relax a little and decompress, because it's all new, and new things are never 100% comfortable. And so if you're a couple, or if you're coming with a family, everybody has to be, you have to be in agreement that this is what you want to do. Now, I would say the number two important thing is pretty much what we just discussed for like 45 minutes. You need to have a way to take care of your health financially. Financially. You've got to understand that there are going to be times when you don't expect it.
The unexpected happens.
And you need emergency medical care, and it could cost you thousands, and you have to pay it up front. You could be having a heart attack on the street, and if you can't pay them the amount they say they want up front, they're not taking you in to give you epinephrine or whatever they need to do. You're not getting it. So you got to have some money. You got to have some credit or some savings. I would say
you got to have something tucked back, whether it be a big credit card with a big limit on it that you go, this is only for the use at the hospitals. Once a year, break it out, go to the Chedraui, spend $100, pay it off, just so that they don't cancel the card on you for inactivity.
Active.
But you need to have that one, or an account set up that you're paying yourself, putting it over here and going, okay, I've got a debit card on it, let it grow some interest for you and everything else. But that money is specifically for, if we need it, we have to go here, we got it.
Right. And I mean, paying for your day-to-day health care won't break your bank.
No.
It's going to cost you less money than it did in the United States, even with insurance. But for catastrophic stuff, they're not going to wait for you to get billed and pay them later.
That ain't the way it works.
Not here.
Nope.
You got to pay for it first. So that is very important. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. And, you end up, I've heard of people dying because they couldn't pay for the care.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
And you could go, I'll take that back. You could potentially go to an IMSS hospital.
True.
You could. And they're going to ask you for some payment up front too, probably.
But it's going to be a lot lower.
It'll be a lot lower.
Right.
But then you're also going to be in company with a lot of other people that are waiting a long time to be seen, because it is a public health care hospital, not a private care.
And it's not that the quality of care is less. It's just there's a bigger demand for it in these hospitals. So it's not like, you're going to be going and you might die. You might die anywhere, but there's a bigger demand on the people working in these hospitals, because when we were in Zakia, we had one at the bottom of the hill. And when we go to the HEB, or we go into Centro, we go anywhere, we had to drive right by this hospital. And 7 days a week, they had lines going out of the hospital and into the hot sun. And so it was just like,
and think about this too. If you're in a true life or death emergency, you're probably going to want to go to the closest hospital. And if the closest hospital happens to be a private hospital, expect that you're going to pay a few $1,000s before they even look at you.
Yeah.
If the ambulance comes to pick you up, expect that they're going to be standing there waiting for payment to put you in their ambulance. It's how it is. So I think a lot of people forget that when you come here, make sure you've got a nest egg for emergency health care.
And if you have something like Safety Wing, then you process the claim, it comes in, you pay it off, and you're right back to where you were. But it's just, you got to have that reserve to sit there and go, this is here. The third thing is, again, back to if you are a couple, you don't want any cracks in your relationship.
Oh yeah.
Because
this will crack it.
Like Gina said, you're learning something new, and it is a stressor at times, especially driving and traveling, because first of all, Google lies to you. And mispronounces the names, and then tells you turn right when you just got past it, and you're just, and so the stress levels going, I'm trying to navigate, I'm trying to keep up. And then all of a sudden Google goes, turn right. And you had no clue. And you're just like, oh,
Back there.
that right back there.
Yeah.
And so, the constant learning and everything else, plus as a couple, you're going to be 100% reliant upon each other.
Yeah.
I mean, when you first get down here, it's the two of you against everything.
But yet a lot of people come alone.
No.
So
that's why I prefaced it is if you're coming as a couple, you don't have you can't have any cracks. You can't come down here thinking this is going to solve anything, because it's not going to solve anything. And you can't come down here going, well, I hope that this is going to change my partner. Well, it's going to change them, because I can tell you right now, I'm not the same person that drove across the border.
Yeah.
You're not the same person that came across the border. And
no, I'm happier.
No. I get that, but you don't know how it's going to change them, and you can't predict what's going to happen, and so you have to be on solid ground coming down here, because that bedrock, it's going to be times it's going to get shaken all the way down to go.
Yeah.
I mean, not very often.
Not often.
No, but
And if you are single, you may want to consider the soft landing if your Spanish is not really good, just until you get adjusted, because it's more than just learning the language. There is a culture. There's a culture here, and they're not going to change for you.
Nor should they.
And so you have to adjust to the culture. And sometimes the easiest way to do that as a single person who maybe is not as well traveled, maybe is not fluent in the language, is the soft landing into one of what is considered the expat enclaves. So the San Miguel's, the Ajijic, the Meridas, things like that.
QR.
Yeah. Finding a place where you can bond with people. Unfortunately, oh my goodness, those Facebook groups, they can be a blessing or a curse. Facebook groups are a good way to meet up with people, but man, I have seen people shredded for asking the simplest, most reasonable questions, because some smart ass in there has to like belittle them for asking a question. And it just, I hate social media for that reason, but sometimes the evil is a necessary one so that you can meet up with other people.
Well, and that's another of the tips is finding a place.
Yeah.
Especially if you're able, if you do Facebook or whatever type of social media.
Those other ones.
I don't know what they are. I don't know any of them. But if you're able to develop relationships and friendships before you get to a specific area, that helps, because you have some support. And that is, as much as we've had a hard time determining which cities, okay, well, we really love San Luis Potosí, we really love Querétaro, we liked Merida, El Tejar. I mean, you see, we really haven't narrowed the list dramatically. And the reason is, we made friends in Merida. We got adopted by a family in El Tejar. We got great friends in San Luis Potosí. And Querétaro, we got an enclave of friends there that just, and that's one of the reasons we need a break. Well, we went, no, we're going to go take our break in Querétaro because, that's great. There's a myriad of people that we're friends with there. And quite honestly, we miss them, and we're looking forward to going and spending some time with them. So, and that is the next one.
Yes. Do you know how many of you can admit, and I will admit, that when living in the United States, I would be one of those vocal people that would say, when you live in the United States, learn to speak English.
I did that.
And
I still believe it. And
I did that.
And we live in Mexico, and we need to learn to speak Spanish.
But I carry that mentality wherever I go. If I'm in France, I'm going to speak French. If I'm in Italy, I'm going to try to speak Italian. I strongly feel that you should make that attempt to learn that country's language. It's not up to them to learn how to communicate with you.
No.
So Spanish,
if,
man.
if you're going to live there, if you're
yeah,
if you're traveling, you get a pass.
obviously.
Yeah. Well,
But-
I'm just pointing out that
Mexico, they speak Spanish in a myriad of like 60 plus native languages,
yes.
but Spanish. And people kind of forget that.
And they work with you.
Yeah.
If you try, they are the most gracious
Yeah.
of and it's funny that puedes hablar más despacio, por favor. I have said
Yes.
that, and it's amazing. The smile, and they go, oh,
Yes.
because they're just talking, and they don't realize the rate at what they're
I'm
talking.
gonna put this up.
Because that's just what they do, and we do the same thing speaking English in the U.S.
Yeah.
We go, and so.
And there's a lot of these apps out there. It's fine to use them. They're great vocabulary builders, but they don't really teach you conversational Spanish. And if you were going to take textbook Spanish like you do in school,
Castilian,
you basically learn Castilian Spanish, not Latin American Spanish or Mexican Spanish to be more specific. And two, they're going to teach you all the base grammatical stuff and a whole lot of phrases and things that you're unlikely going to use on a regular basis. You want to learn how to speak naturally, fluent, like naturally in day-to-day conversations and scenarios, getting the taxi, going to the store, going to the restaurant, asking questions, asking people about their activities, what they like to do. That's natural daily conversational Spanish.
You want to learn to speak and communicate with the people that you live with. That's what it all comes down to.
And and I'm plugging this here because look, I'm a believer. I just finished up level 2 of expat Spanish. He's on 4 and he's about to finish up 4. And I can't tell you how much progress I have made. It is I'm actually it's still very elementary and I struggle. I don't care if I'm struggling. People are understanding me, and that's what's important to me, is that they understand me. And that's good. I went and got a haircut. I took a picture of what I wanted, but I was able to tell her, that I wanted it at my eyebrows and I wanted it short in the back, and it worked. And, I've got elementary and primary Spanish readers that I'm starting to read and look at. I'm doing my gritty Spanish, but it all started with me having a foundation that I got with expat Spanish lessons. So honestly, guys, this is one of many options you have, but it's working really well for me. And I think for you too. He's got Duolingo that he pairs it with for vocabulary.
Duolingo gives me the vocabulary, even though some of the times I get words that we don't use down here. And there are times that has been problematic, just because you learn one word and then you find out, well, they don't really use that word here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But as a whole, the majority of the nouns, most of the time the Duolingo gets me into trouble is with the verbs, and a couple times nouns, but most of the time it's the verbs. And learning, case in point, they like to use tomar down here, whether it is to take or to drink. And Castilian, they use beber to drink, and while they still call it a bebida, a drink, tomar un bebida. I mean,
para tomar. Yeah.
Okay, it's just the way it is, and so learning those little nuances. But that's learning Spanish is very key, even rudimentary, just enough, learning the bit to be able to go to the store, go to the farmacia, go to a restaurant, order, and not be doing the sí, and then ending up with 3 bags of tacos and
5 bags of papas.
well, the 5 bags of papas wasn't bad, but the 3 bags, tacos, we were like, in because you don't want to admit that you didn't understand, and so or you think that they understand what you said, which they're sitting there sometimes giving you that weird look. You sort of go, "No, I said that right." Well, no, I really didn't.
When you're taking Spanish language lessons, particularly online, it's great. You're learning it. And if you're still living in the United States, you're not really getting a chance to go out and use it with other people unless you're shopping in Latino markets or something.
Which is a good thing to do. Practice.
So sometimes, just that on-screen class where you're talking with each other and like they are full conversation in Spanish with each other in the class that he's taking. And the one that I'm going to start for level 3, they're going to, I think there's 20 some stories, and it's a listening exercise. You're listening to the story, and then there's a transcript that you can go back and read. And then you're answering questions about what happened in the story in Spanish and things like that. And then there's also a class. So it's good because you're training your ear to hear. But Spanish is so important. And it's funny, we were at the mall. Tuxtla is not an English-speaking place.
Why would it be?
Why would it be, right? We were at the mall, and we were at the toy store. I was looking for a squishy jelly ball to exercise my hand. We bought Play-Doh. And I was trying to communicate about why I needed it for my hand. And she goes, "I speak English."
Which, first of all, how do you know who does and who doesn't? And second of all, yes, that's nice. And a lot of times those who do speak English want to speak to us in English because they want to practice their English.
Yeah.
Because they don't get as many opportunities. If you live in Tuxtla Gutiérrez versus living in Playa del Carmen, you get to practice your English a whole lot more than you do in Tuxtla. So, that's one of those that she wanted to do that. And Gina kept going in her Spanish, necesito practicar, and oh, bueno. And the rest of it got done in Spanish.
We were good. I mean, and I went up to the sushi counter and I ordered sushi. So, Rick and Joyce in Tequiskia Pond. It's hot today there too. Guys, I just got done telling him when we're in Querétaro, I cannot wait to come back and spend like a weekend in Tequis. I really love Tequiskia.
Yeah, that was nice.
Just love it.
Well, there's a lot of things that when we're up there, we're going to, we're going to go to the hacienda. Yeah.
CDs are paying your 10% intercom. That's cool, but we're not in the investment markets at the moment.
No,
but that's a good bit of information.
You're getting.
That's excellent. That's like
that rate,
double.
That's double versus what you're getting. Yeah. And again, it helps to be able to do that because if you've got a bank account, something we have not yet tackled.
We haven't done yet. Thank you, Stephanie, very much for the compliment on my hair. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, Jesse, you were in Portugal and you took a fall and it was bad. Always know how you're going to handle your medical emergencies in any country. It's absolutely true. We're back to the medical discussion. This is so true, though. It's a huge, important part of living here. Wife fell and was hospitalized in Mexico for over a week. Had to pay over $15,000. We're still working on getting U.S. insurance company to reimburse. Wow. Yeah. Wow. That's a lot. And that's a fall. I'm curious, Doug, did she have to maybe have a bone repaired? I'm curious to what the $15,000 was. It was just expensive to stay in a hospital for a week type thing, or was it because she had to have like some expensive procedures done? I'm curious about that.
One of the things is even though, if you were to participate in something like a lakeside, if you were traveling to PDC or Riviera Maya or BCS, and you were in a place that was outside of Lakeside's coverage, you're going to have to prepare yourself that if something happened, you might have to still pay out of pocket, so up front. So,
Yeah.
you need to have that plan put in place and go, boom.
And Benito, you are absolutely correct about the public hospital. Very cheap out of pocket, but lots of people needing care. No private rooms, open bays, 20 beds, care's top notch, but nobody spoke English. Yeah, it's like it's one of those things where your care will be good, but the hospital, because it is a public hospital, they may not have the funding for the top of the line equipment. Maybe they're short.
Well, they may have it, but there may be a line for it.
Well,
I
yeah,
mean,
but I mean, like, they may not have state of the art equipment. They'll have the equipment that will get the job done, but they may not have state of the art. They'll have doctors that are very good at what they do, but they may not speak any English. And you won't have like you said, you won't get the privacy.
back to learning the Spanish.
Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
I mean, all of this just really flows in together. Yeah. One of the other things.
Thank you, Lisa.
Is learning to assimilate and embracing the Mexican culture.
Okay, so let's hit on that.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
that's
so things are different. You can go to the grocery store, and it wasn't until we lived in Mexico that I finally understood why entire Mexican families would go to the grocery store in the United States. Everybody, the abuela, the abuelo, the mom and dad, 3 or 4 kids pushing 2 buggies around with nothing in the buggies, all traveling together through the lines, through the aisles at the grocery store. I never understood that, but you know what? That's how it is. Families do things together here.
All the time.
And it doesn't matter how trivial that activity is. They do them together. And now, it's nothing.
And they hold hands, they smile, they tease each other, they laugh. I mean, it's the things that we used to see in the US that you don't see anymore. Kids having fun. Just the ability for them to be wide-eyed instead of having to have that constant, I've got to be on the lookout. Does that mean that it's never dangerous here in Mexico? No.
Right.
But overwhelmingly, when we go to these Jardines, we see kids that are just being kids having fun.
Oh.
Simple toys. I mean, a what do you call those things that spin around?
Little spinners they shoot up in the air.
No, the on a stick, the whirly bird.
I don't know. Windmills.
I
don't know.
Yeah. I can't remember what the name of that thing is now. Those, kids are running around with them, just making them go. And we saw
the kid on the bike.
I was just going to say, we went to a restaurant. One of the ones that they say, if you're coming to Tuxtla, this is one of the ones you need to go to for authentic, Oaxacan Chiapas food. And so we go there, and there's a kid that has this bike, and it sounds like a motorcycle when he starts going really fast. And we're like, what is he doing? Because we keep looking at the bike, and it's like, all right, hold on, something's altered.
There's no playing cards in the spokes. We're like, what is he doing?
It was nothing more than an empty soda bottle that they had shoved in between the frame, and it was riding on the back of the back tire. And the faster we go, the more it vibrate, and it sounded like a motorcycle.
It was fun.
And he was having a blast,
So we're in Marimba Park. Of course, the families are there. The kids are there. And the kids are fascinated and amazed with my drone. I was flying the drone. And I motioned one little kid to come over. And he was just in awe watching the screen on my phone as we're making this drone fly around. What I should have done, I didn't think of it, was turn it around so that it would come down and show him in the frame. But he loved it. He loved it so much. It just gave him a great big smile on his face. Family. Family. His mom and dad were there. They were smiling. It was all just a lot of fun. And so you go to the grocery store and the whole family's there. You go to the park, the whole family's there. You go to church, the whole family's there. You know,
Well, and
it's just the way it is.
And another thing about the grocery store, I mean, just as a cultural difference, when they're working in the grocery store,
Oh yeah,
they're working. They're not going to get out of your way. You go around them, and
Yep.
it's just
they could have the aisle blocked because they're stocking shelves.
Yep.
And they're not going to move.
nope.
It's
They're
just-
doing their job,
that's-
and
yeah.
you know,
it's the
at
way
first
it
we
is.
were like, hold on, you know, we're just not used to it. So it's understanding that what was common in the country that you left may not be common down here, and you just got to go, hey,
Oh, how about this? Greeting, saying hello to everyone you meet
Yep.
before you have any other conversation about anything else you need.
mm-hmm.
You go to get your laundry done, you say hello. You
Buenas tardes.
ask how they are. You go to get a photocopy done, you say hello and you ask how they are. You go to the restaurant to get something to eat, you say hello.
Yep.
And you ask how they are. And you say please. And you say thank you.
Yes.
I mean, this is expected.
And another thing that will help you go a long way is leave your shit at the border.
Oh my.
You know,
Yes.
doesn't matter which side of the political aisle you're on or anything else, leave it at the border.
Yeah.
You know, what's happening up there is happening up there. It doesn't affect down here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the people that we have seen that are miserable,
Oh.
and we've seen a couple, not very many, but we've seen a couple.
Mm. Mm.
And it's because they bring their angst with them instead of leaving it when you cross the border and going.
I cannot tell you how many times I have looked at one of the lakeside Facebook groups and people are making political posts.
Why?
I don't even care which candidate you're posting about and who you're slamming, but they're making political posts and poking fun and saying ignorant things. And I'm like, why? You don't live there anymore. You're in Mexico now. Can you maybe just forget that stuff for a little bit and enjoy what you have?
And leaving that aside back there, you just feel better.
Yeah.
You're not wound up. You're not angry.
Let it go.
You're not going, that person's evil or that person's evil. You know what? You're in Mexico. Everybody's having a good time. And you're just going, boom.
You're so right. Facebook block.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
I guess.
It's wonderful. I pretty much don't interact with a lot of these groups. I'll scroll when I'll see something that might hook me for a minute, and then I start seeing snide comments. Someone might ask a question, and people post these laughing emojis about the question. Like, why? Why are you? Don't tear somebody down. We should not be tearing each other down.
No, because the only stupid question is the one that
Yeah.
doesn't get asked. Because if you don't ask it, you never get an answer.
And yeah,
I mean,
and you're right. YouTube videos, well,
not gonna go.
they don't always lie, but they can exaggerate and they can paint a rosy picture where there shouldn't be one. You know, they can be. It depends on who's telling the story.
And with AI nowadays,
well,
you know, used to be when we were all growing up, you know, we used to be told, you know, believe half of what you read and everything that you see. Well, with AI now, it's sort of, I don't even know if I can believe what I'm seeing.
Hey, thank you, nature lover. Happy Wednesday. and Debbie, I think you're commenting here on who was one of those people that used to say, when you come to this country, speak the language type thing. Yeah, I think that's what that is, right? And Benito. Oh boy, you're really getting me there, Benito. I'm pretty sure.
All right, hold on. If Benito and Tom get going,
none
of us are going to know what the hell's going on.
I see some German happening there. But it's about respecting where you are, respecting their customs, respecting their language, doing the things that they consider to be normal. And that what they expect from you is a greeting, just a small talk before you get down to business, and your pleases and your thank yous.
And smile.
And smile.
I mean, that's
Gringo time in Querétaro. Woo!
Oh, yeah.
I'm getting.
But I mean,
excited.
that is, you just have to just go and realize they're going to put you in a few times in situations that are outside of your comfort zone because they do things different here
Yes.
than what we did at home.
Yes.
And I am not the most flexible person. I'm just saying, especially when I was on that
Who
side.
are you?
When I was on that side of the border, it was, hell no, I'm not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And there are still times I go, hell no, I'm not doing that.
Wow.
But I do more things down here, and it's lightened my whole attitude a lot more, being around people that are just open and going, come on, we're having fun. Okay.
Miguel, this is a really good one. I see this one a lot. Something you can do to help ease transition is volunteer. Absolutely. We met so many families working with our food bank during COVID. It was a blessing in the end. Yes. And
it's a win-win.
It's a win-win. There's so many places and ways that one could volunteer. It could be with food banks. It could be with childcare. It could be with, animal shelters.
Mm-hmm.
It could be with environmental cleanup. There's so many things that could be done. And
it could be something also as simple as, doing English second language, where you're trading off teaching someone to speak English and they're helping you with the Spanish. Well, guess what? Again, we're back to the win-win.
I mean, I envision myself eventually at some point working with children and young adults on art lessons. I used to do that. I used to be a colored pencil art teacher at an art gallery in North Carolina. I would love to do that again. I used to teach technique, and and the age didn't matter, and I had a lot of fun with it.
I was teaching photography back then too.
I mean, and I know that's not a humanity thing, but it is something that kids like to do, and sometimes people just want the opportunity to learn a new skill or just for a hobby or something. So I always wanted to kind of do that.
It's interacting, and that's the key. The more interaction you get, and you do it without expecting something back, then you're a winner. What?
Oh, the lights are flickering again. I just wonder if they show up in the video. I feel like they probably do. I don't know. We can't see them, but we see it flickering in the video. Doug, we lived in Chile for 7 months back in the late 80s. My wife learned a lot of Spanish watching soap operas on TV while I was at work.
Yeah.
It's a great way to
and I think that the television and music and movies, that's a great way of learning. I also think it's a whole lot easier when you're younger.
It is.
I think that.
And then here's the inverse of that. Nanny in New York learned English watching our soaps. Yeah.
Oh, God, the things that she learned.
I wonder what soap she was watching. I was an NBC person. So how is my wrist and my arm and my wrist? Well, nature lover, let me tell you. I'm able to take it out of the splint. I've been doing that, and I've been trying to exercise my hand, because my hand at this point right now, my hand is very, very stiff, and the muscles this way are very tight and very sore. So I keep trying to do this sort of thing, and then just my hand. Otherwise, I have some of my twist back, which is good. It's not fully there, but I'm just trying to get some strength in it. But I can tell by the end of the day, I'm ready to put this thing back on, because it's just sore and tired.
The atrophy that occurs over that time frame, it took its toll, and so now she's got to build it back up. Don't worry, Saturday I have her toting boxes and putting them in the car.
Oh, I'm joking. Okay, Tom. Yes, novellas are dramatic. Oh, they sure are. But you know what? So is my gritty Spanish. My gritty Spanish has got a whole lot of drama in it.
If you think that you're gonna say what's on the novellas, you may be saying the wrong thing to the wrong people. So.
Oh, here we go. Okay. Thank you, Doug. You didn't have to share this, but thank you. Hit her head and had a bleeding in her skull that they had to monitor. So yeah, so they were running CT scans probably, and then ICU is an expensive unit to be in, and they weren't sure why she passed out. They were checking for heart issues, possibly low blood pressure, things like that. But I would say it was probably the fact that one, she was in an ICU unit, which is one of the most expensive. I think the only thing that could possibly be more expensive might be a trauma unit.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I mean that's one of the most expensive.
They're neck
rooms.
and neck with each other. They're both going to be.
And with a cranial bleed, they were probably regularly doing CT scans, which are expensive. So, wow, that's something. Since you had this stay, Doug, I'd like to know, were you responsible for bringing her something to eat? I have heard that when you have hospital stays, they don't do the cafeteria thing and have a dietitian come in and bring you food and all that, Jack. Like your family does that. Your family sits with you in your room and your family brings you something to eat. That's what I've heard.
It's probably why all the rappy motorcycles keep pulling up in front of the hospitals.
It could be.
Mean,
so
I'm going to fix that light. You're a little hot.
I'm hot. Look at me. I'm hot. Hot. Oh, let's see.
Is that better?
Yeah, I guess it's still flickering though. Oh, there you go. That's the name of those toys. Ray. I can't say that word. Damn it. Regalites spinners.
Regalites.
Is that how you say it? Yeah. Yeah.
Pinwheels. That's what they're called.
Pinwheels. Okay.
And, hey, at least it happened early. Normally that's like 3 a.m. and I'll wake up and go, pinwheels.
Okay, so then in addition to this, Doug, she also had a couple of broken bones, so they had to reset the bones. They probably had to wrap that up. I mean, that's a good price, and you're absolutely right. The 7 days in the ICU alone probably would have run you $200,000. It probably would have run you $200,000.
And we haven't even talked about paying the specialist.
And the specialist, the radiologist who read the films, the traumatology people, the blah, 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 the ER people, the doctor in the ER. But just the room itself probably would have ran about $200,000, not including the meds, just all of it. So, yeah. And, of course, usually people have insurance in the United States to cover a huge part of that. But the way insurance has been lately, about 20% of that still ends up falling on you. So, I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's just
you did really good. It's a good price. And so here, it's odd that Medicare and U.S. insurance is reluctant to cover care in Mexico, which would cost them much less. Yeah.
Well, no, I get the not wanting to fly, especially with that part. But you sit there and you go, you think about Ernie Baca's story and how much he saved his insurance company, and they just went here, because they just paid him back.
But he's an exception because he's got government insurance.
Well, I get that, but what I'm saying, we're pointing out that why can't they do that?
Right.
Because if it was patient driven, that would be a wonderful thing. But we all know that this is not patient driven. No. It's dollar driven. So
we can't wait for you to get to Querétaro. Well, Vicki, we can't wait either. We love Querétaro, and we have friends there. We're looking forward to seeing people, meeting new people. There's restaurants we like there that we can't wait to eat again.
Mm-hmm.
We want to go back to some of the Pueblo Mágicos that we really, really enjoyed. There is Hacienda Galindo.
Oh God, yeah.
That we want to go spend a weekend at.
Yeah, and we're gonna do some meetups and everything, and we may do one at Hacienda Galindo. I mean, may go, hey, we're gonna go to Hacienda Galindo for this weekend. Anybody wants to go? And if you haven't been, it's
lovely. It probably runs around $200 a night.
It's not inexpensive, but wow.
It's a first class place, and it probably runs about $200 a night to stay there. So, but it's just so cool, and the restaurants are really good, and They have a pool and nice grounds, and it's just a nice historic hacienda. Oh, Annie, I'm sure your art skills and talents are valuable. Mexico knows how to appreciate the
They
arts.
do that.
They really do. They really do. I feel like such a small little tadpole in a big pond when it comes to my art. Colored pencil art is a very, very tedious process. So, and it was General Hospital. Oh,
80s. I mean, we're talking Luke and Laura.
And Bobby.
Oh, Bobby Spencer.
That's right. and
Rick and Laura Weber and
we had
the Quartermains.
We had some Rick Springfield there.
Mm-hmm.
Frisco was also on there. Who was that? He became a singer as well.
Jack Wagner.
Jack Wagner. Thank you. I wasn't a General Hospital person, but and how could you avoid knowing who those people were?
Well,
you know?
Jack Wagner's a really good golfer too.
Same guy?
The same guy, yes.
For real?
Yeah, he has won that amateur tournament that they have in Lake Tahoe a couple of times.
Food channels. Claudia, I just watch food channels to learn English here. Learn a lot, but do not cook a lot. It's okay. It's okay. I want to watch some old Tintin movies. I so love the Panadero song so much that I looked it up. And then I looked up a couple of his other movies and I was like, this guy's funny. He reminded me of like, I don't know, like Marx Brothers and Abbott and Costello and just that comedic 50s acting. And I'm like, I want to watch some of these movies. But I haven't found any yet that I can understand. So I need to get one that I can dub in English because, boy, they talk really, really quickly in these movies. But I'm a fan.
I think I figured out the light thing.
What is the light thing, honey?
I think it is the quality of the electricity that we are getting here in Tuxtla because it fluctuates. It fluctuates a lot, and I think that's what's causing this light fluctuation. Because I'm sitting here and I'm going, but we will hear our fan suddenly speed up, and then sometimes it speeds down. So.
Yeah. Okay, so Debbie, in a private hospital, the patients were brought food. Okay. I wondered about that. So it must be the public ones where the family has to do it. That's good. And Doug says that she had excellent care. They provided all the meals. Okay. Just like in the U.S. She had a nice private room. Okay. And she was the only one in ICU with a couple of people caring for her. Nice. So she had really good care, honestly. Okay, Benito. During my hospital stay, outside food was provided. I was allowed to bring me bottled water. All meals were provided and regulated by a dietitian. Okay, good deal. So
that means if I go to the hospital, you could bring me water, but you couldn't bring me Coke? We in trouble.
I probably could bring you Coke. We're getting hot again. Turn on the ceiling light or something. That will help. Azul, hospital feed you, but our culture is homemade food is better. Yeah, that's better. That's good. Like chicken soup, hot drinks. I was at the hospital for 3 weeks and my mom was bringing me food from home most of the time. Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Food Lakeside is wonderful. There's a lot of places I've seen there. Lots of options to eat. And this was what we were told is the best private hospital in Cozumel, Costa Med. They had a Canadian lady on staff who was a very attractive patient advocate. I bet
attentive, not attractive.
I thought attractive,
attentive.
Like. I'm so sorry. I'm just like, attentive. Okay. Almost everyone spoke fairly good English. I would expect places like the tourist areas that would be the case.
Yeah, but that wasn't really the case too much in Playa Car. I mean,
the doctors spoke English. One was very good and one was okay.
Yeah. And the admitting was
good.
Was bilingual.
And one of the nurses was good enough to translate for the CT guy.
Yeah, one of the nurses we sort of worked her English was about like our Spanish, and between
Yeah.
what she knew and what Spanish we knew, we were able to put it all together. But
And Benito, it was the General Hospital of Leon, very tightly controlled entry, only one family member allowed entry. Okay. Was this during COVID? I'm just curious because in the United States, a lot of hospitals also had restricted family access.
yeah, someone to the point of zero. I mean, that
Some,
was
but, definitely reduced after a while. So what else we haven't touched on yet? We've touched on your attitude, basically.
what's wrong with my attitude?
no.
Huh? What?
About me?
Oh, general.
The-
Okay.
Having money for healthcare,
Yes.
the attitude. Basically, we've talked about this before, just being aware of your safety. Just being
Yeah,
alert.
we did safety all last
Yeah.
week. So yeah.
And learning Spanish. It was really important. It really, really is. What other kind of things?
And
what else would you guys like to add to that?
honestly, I think the easiest thing to do is realizing down here
Okay.
that the more engaged you are with the Mexican people,
Mm-hmm.
you will get it tenfold back.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's just, if you make a scintilla of effort, you will be blown away by how much it comes back. It's just, I mean, I can't.
This is a really good one. We don't have any pets, but our first landing spot, for about 3 weeks, were caring for 2 miniature schnauzers, and they had to get groomed. And I believe that we took them to a vet to get that done, actually. I think that was a vet's office.
Yes, it was.
The office.
That we couldn't find.
Yeah, well, we found it.
I know.
The office was very small.
Mm-hmm.
It was clean. He was attentive. He had a lot of people coming and going.
Oh, yeah.
So his services were being used. That's always good. If they've got a lot of business, then, people like them. But we don't really know much beyond that. We did take the dogs back on behalf of Roddy so that we could, well, we didn't take the dogs back, I don't think. We went back to the vet's office to get their shot record because Roddy needed them to fly them home to Texas, and he was tied up with immigration. So I know that that's who they used, and they apparently trusted the dogs to that care.
I think that
it wasn't those 2 dogs. Look, if you've ever taken a Schnauzer or a Poodle, any dog that has a lot of sculpted hair cutting to get done, you know that at minimum, you're spending about $50 for a wash and trim. Minimum. And depending on where you live, it could be up to $100 in the United States. Or more. This guy did 2 Schnauzers, and it was like the total of $30.
Yeah, 600 pesos, I think it was, something like that.
Yeah, and that's when there was a 20 peso exchange rate for 2 dogs together.
I think the YouTubers probably ask more about as far as when it comes to dogs, 2 travelers in Mexico, because Paulette is avid about taking care of animals. That's one of her absolute passions.
Yes, and Annie Vet and Arlene.
Annie Vet and Arlene.
Yes, who are on here. Annie Vet's been commenting. They've taken in and rescued some dogs since they've arrived in Mexico.
Along with the 2 dogs they brought.
There was a dog that got hit by a car, and they took that dog to a vet and paid out of their own pocket to have the dog looked at. And I believe the dog had to be put down. Yeah. It didn't cost a lot of money. So the care is affordable. And like anything else in life, you might have to go to a vet and see if you like them.
And we can say this is in all of our travels around Mexico, finding a vet is not difficult.
Mm-mm.
I think just about every barrio we've been to, there's 1, 2, 3 different vets that we normally see when walking around barrios. So they're pretty readily available.
All right. What's up, Tom? Some of the great Mexican singers to listen to are Alejandro Fernandez, son of Vicente, Jose Jose, Jose Jose. I've never heard of that. Rocio Durcal. I'm not sure how to say that. Durcal, I think. Selena. I know Selena. Juan Gabriel. I know Juan Gabriel. And many more great musicians can help anyone's Spanish. Oh, I'm all about Nunca Jamás right now. Very much so. And when I was at the Hard Rock, one of my servers gave me a great playlist of music to listen to. And a lot of the songs have lyrics. So that's awesome, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very helpful. Let's see. Debbie, it's really hard to explain how wonderful it is here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. It is. I'm really looking forward to my first trip back to Orlando next week. I think I'm going to go back probably every 9 to 10 months. Good for you, hon. And it is wonderful.
Yeah, I don't think, well, let's see. It's been 14 months since I've been back, and it's been, what, 13? 12 or 13? Well, about 13 months.
Okay, hold up,
Since you went.
Jesse. You're going to be working from either Merida or Ajijic now, except I can't figure out how to get my corgi down here. It doesn't involve a cargo hold on a plane. Annie, I know you're on here. Did you have to do cargo hold with your dogs?
Well, the big one they did, I know.
What about the small one? Oreo, I believe it was.
Yeah, Oreo.
What about the small one? I've seen people take their dogs on plane in little carry-ons. I didn't think corgis were that big.
I don't think so.
I don't know. You know what? I've seen people also just pay for a seat for their pet.
Well, that's going to depend upon the airline.
It will.
And that again, you really have Merida, you have American, and you have Delta, and you have United, and then of course Delta is affiliated with Aeromexico.
Corgis are about 30 pounds. Wow, they're heavier than I thought they were. But their size, they're not that big. I'm curious. You probably are going to have to, like you said, call around and talk to various airlines. And I know.
And just to think about this, Jesse, just as another way of maybe thinking outside the box, if let's say it's Merida, you might have more options flying into Cancun because more airlines fly there, and then being able to take the train, because that part of the train is running from Cancun.
Pets aren't allowed on the train.
Then take the audio.
Yeah.
I'm just.
I don't know about the ADEO either.
I'm trying to think.
No, I'm thinking buses are an issue with pets. I don't know. I'm not real sure. Sorry, because we don't have one.
But even so, I mean, you may have to do a private taxi,
private shuttle or something.
Yeah.
See, okay, so Annie, that I used to pay $100 in California, for Oreo's grooming. Now we pay 300 pesos. Wow, right? So we're back down to when it was a 20 peso exchange rate, $15 for grooming, but now it's probably closer to about 17.
Well, still.
Yeah, that's awesome, right?
Yeah.
And Dave, you're absolutely right. A lot of gringos help dogs all around Mexico.
Oh, God.
That is a cultural thing. I'm not saying that they abuse their dogs, but a lot of people will let their dogs out during the day and they run the neighborhood, and then they come home at night. And because it's expensive to get their dogs spayed or neutered, they don't. And then what happens?
We get more of them.
You get more dogs that don't have owners, don't have homes. And so,
Ginger's Rescue there in Progreso, perfect example. She has got a whole operation going of collecting these dogs, training them, helping with their health care and everything else, and then finding them adopted homes. So, yeah.
So
you know what? There's the answer.
Jose.
No.
Awesome. What?
There's the answer for Jesse. Contact Ginger, because they fly.
Oh.
She flies dogs all up from Merida to all places around the Canada and the U.S. So,
I'll type it in here. Ginger's Jungle Rescue.
but she has experience on how to do that. So, if anybody is going to be the one that's going to be able to give you much more hands-on answers, it would be Ginger at the
I mean,
rescue.
I don't know how willing and open Ginger would be to just offer advice on how to do it. I mean, her primary goal is to home the dogs she already has, but she's a nice lady.
Yes,
So
very
if you,
nice.
if you ask her, hopefully she's kind enough to just say, this is how I do it. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm lost because I jumped around. Okay, Benito, we're going to call it a night. Thanks for joining us tonight. Have a good dinner. Buen provecho.
Buen provecho.
Buen provecho. Okay. Ana Gabriel, I think I've heard this name. Oh, and I know, yeah. Gilberto Santa Rosa, I've heard this name. Dave, tell Jesse to reach out to me. So, Jesse, did you see that?
Find a way of you two hooking up.
Yeah.
And if you need to, you can reach out to both of you. Reach out to us at the gringosrus.com on the contact us, and we can pass the information on how to get in touch with that.
Yeah. So Cindy thinks that it might be 20 pounds to bring on the plane.
That's a possibility.
Possibly. Under 12 pounds for under the seat. Yeah, I think it does depend on the airline, but I don't think these numbers are that far off. Okay, so Annie, Oreo could have stood in cabin with us, but we sent him down to cargo so Lady wouldn't be alone. That makes sense. And Lady's a very large dog.
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah, Lady was not going to be in the cabin.
It's incredible, but yet we can watch. I've seen videos of people in the Arab countries buy seats for their falcons and stuff.
Still under 12 pounds. But I would think Oreo would be about the size of a corgi. And that was, if I remember right, Alaska Air that they flew out of LAX into Guadalajara.
Oh, wait, what's this? United has a pet safe, supposedly the best and safest way to bring your pet. Huh.
And United goes into Merida through Houston.
All right. And only because flight was short 3 hours and we avoided layovers.
Yeah, I mean you have to plan it out. So I mean, you may have to do like fly to Houston one day, spend the night.
And Cindy's right. There is a pet airline and a van delivery service for pets. I've seen the guy advertise his pet delivery service. He will have multiple pets from multiple owners in crates, and they all get their own space in the van, in their own crate, and he will bring them into Mexico. And I don't know their name offhand either, Cindy. I've seen him advertise. I think where I've seen him advertise was either the Progresso or the Merida groups, I think. Jesse, let me know if you are interested in this guy, the van delivery. I'll look him up. I've seen his post.
But here again, the beauty of all of you, of one of us has a problem, and all of you just sit there and go, try this, try this, try this, try this. This community is unbelievable in how they just are willing to just go, you know what? It's not just your problem. Here, let us help. And that is the best. It's the best part about all of you, and that was another of the things that you guys don't realize, that all of you give us a lot more support when it comes to, we're not traveling by ourselves. We all know that all of you are right there with us, and that, it's like, we're never quite alone.
So yeah, Dave, I will. If I can get Jesse's information, I'll put her in touch with you on Facebook. And okay, Tom, you don't have to tell me. Tengo dos discos de Celia Cruz. Yes, I do like her. Okay, so Oreo is 15 pounds.
God, I thought Oreo was heavier than that.
It's all
She-
that. It's all that
It's all
hair.
that hair. Yeah.
And
She
Alaska
looks bigger than what she is.
was the only ones that accepted our big lady.
She's a big girl.
All right, we're almost on 2 hours. What have we not mentioned? Is there anything that you guys think that is particularly important, particularly helpful if somebody wants to move to Mexico? What would be a helpful tip to make that move,
Well, I had one more.
or a helpful tip to transition to life here, while he's talking about his next idea?
I mean, the last one is plan,
Oh yeah,
plan, and plan some more. Because as much as you think you are prepared for everything that might come your way, be it immigration, be it, if you're going to bring your car and you can be a temporary resident, what you need to do is about a tip. All of these things require, the planning. Make sure that you have your birth certificates. Make sure you have marriage certificates. Make sure that they've all been apostilled. I mean, all these little nuanced details that you have to go, all right, there's a lot of little things that go on, but the more that you plan for these little things, the easier it is, so that you don't get here and suddenly go, holy crap, that's all. I got to deal with immigration now. Well,
Yeah.
And Mexico relocation guide, well worth the money.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
no, yeah, for sure. It was definitely worth the money.
Yeah.
It seems really pricey, but in the grand scheme of things, as long as you would use it and you would continue to use it, it's worth the money. It's a great investment. Once you have it, you have it.
Somewhere down there, I'm sure we
Well,
got a
I mean,
link.
I've got the thing here. I'll put it up again. But if you haven't looked into it, we really recommend it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a strong tool, and just trying to figure out what you need to do as far as going to the consulate. What do you need to take to the consulate? If you're going to be a temporary resident, if you're going to be a permanent resident, the requirements for both, because they are different. And all of these things, putting it all together and doing it without causing yourself stress.
Yeah.
And so creating a plan, we actually did a spreadsheet, and we did a spreadsheet not just for all the locations. We did the spreadsheet of, we need this.
Our honey-do list.
The honey-do list. And then we did okay, we need to have these things to take with us, because there's certain things that you need, that you want to bring with you. And there's some things that you sit there and go, I'm going to have all this, and I need this. And then you get down here and you go, oh, I thought I needed it, but I really don't.
I really don't, but it's okay. You had it in case you did.
Yeah. But once you've done the planning, like Annie that just said, pull the trigger and have fun.
It's you're going to get curveballs. Just navigate the balls.
Go with it.
That doesn't sound good, does it?
I wasn't going to go there, but
sorry.
You have to let it, like Annie that just said, let it flow, and you sort of go, and you have to just go, what do I do to solve it? And some things are worth paying the money. Facilitators, I wouldn't dream of trying to do INM without a facilitator.
I would say
if I was fluent like Tom,
if you were fluent in Spanish, you could do those things on your own and save yourself some money. But if you're not, and we are not, it was better to pay and have somebody do all that legal work for us so we didn't mess it up.
Well,
Because one thing in Mexico, bureaucracy.
mm-hmm. and
Yes.
what may be the case when you cross the border and you have this whole plan in place, you may get to the INM office that you're planning on going to, and it may not be that way. And that's one of the things, that you have to plan for. And facilitators did make that a lot easier because they know when things change.
And facilitators typically will not help you with the consulate.
No,
this is absolutely right. This is accurate, Debbie. If you are desiring a potential move, you need to start with your consulate in your home country.
That word at the very end is the most important one. Now.
Every year they raise the requirements about 20%. When we first started looking at doing this, it was like less than $3,000 a month. And by next year, if they
it was less. It was less than.
I mean, it was
less than $2,000 a month.
By next year, it's going to be around $5,000 a month.
Not around. It's going to be over
if they continue the trend.
It'll be over.
It's getting to the point where if you were on Social Security and you thought that was going to qualify you, it doesn't anymore. And that's the sad part. And it's gotten to the point where McAllen, Texas consulate, which used to be the catch-all for everybody because they had the lowest requirements, no longer do. And they probably changed their requirements because they were getting bombarded, So yeah, get your consulate, do it as soon as you can while the financial requirements are as low as they can be at this moment in time. If they're still offering it, some cities are. This is where you need to talk to a facilitator. If they are still offering regularization, and some cities are, not as many as used to.
No.
You actually could come in, go do a 7-day border run thing, let your FMN expire, and then get automatic residency for 4 years without proving any income.
Now, the other thing is we all have to keep in mind that in 3 weeks,
that could change.
Well, we have an election here in Mexico. June 2nd, they have the new presidential election. And there are certain parties here in Mexico, and I'm not talking political parties, I'm talking parties as far as groups of people who have been advocating that they change the formula. And Ernie Baca knows this a whole lot better than we do, but there's a different formula that would bring it back down because right now it's tied to the minimum wage. And so it has escalated to the point where it's unmanageable for majority of people at the border. And so they're going, okay, hold on. And that's what McAllen was using, McAllen was using the proposed formula. And that's why theirs was so much lower. And the interesting thing with the Mexican consulates is it's up to the consulate general at each consulate as to how they wanted to do it. And so in McAllen, they were doing it based on the proposed formula, which kept the number down low. Just about everybody else was going with the Mexican law, which is based on the minimum wage, and it's getting expensive. So what Debbie was saying there was absolutely correct. If you're thinking about doing it, doesn't mean you got to move now, but you need to get into the consulate, get your visa, get qualified. I know it's a tough job. Come to Mexico, get your temporary residency, and then you've got, a whole year before you have to come down and renew it again. And you don't have to do anything until, 3 years later, come down, get your permanent one, and you don't have to do the financials or anything like that for most of the time to renew it, become permanent, move when you're ready. But stop the clock from ticking as far as getting the increase on the minimum requirements.
Oh, thank you very much, Julie. I appreciate it. It is light. It's hot here, so I was ready. Okay, Deltron. I'm having issues using an American credit card to buy things online in Mexico, like Sam's and Walmart. My orders keep getting canceled. This is a hit and miss situation. It depends on the company for the card. It depends on the type of card. Sometimes Visa, MasterCard. It we run into that issue with Starlink.
It depends upon who the actual company, the retailer.
Yes.
If they use a particular vendor to handle
Yes.
their online transactions, and these particular ones, these companies sometimes deal with, buy now, pay later, and then the zero interest things and things like that.
Affirm
and
things like that.
If these platforms also support these other types of companies that are doing that, there are some credit card companies, and I'm going to get on my soapbox here, that have the balls to just tell us that, you know what, we're not doing business with them, even though we're going to make sure that you can't do business with them. And it's like you're dealing with a legitimate retailer.
Okay, so what can you do? All right. So what happens often, and Annie Vet and Arlene went through this, they were trying to get Starlink and it would never go through. Never go through, never go through, never go through. And then one day, no, they got a notice one day. Are you trying to make a purchase? This looks like fraud to us. And as soon as they approved the fraud notice, it went through. Now, I've had issues with Starlink. I used the same card to buy it. I paid for the service for a year and a half with that same account. And in one day, it doesn't go through anymore. And I never got any notices or anything saying there was an issue. I just got a thing from Starlink saying we can't process your payment. So I tried 5 different cards. None of them would go through. And then finally one day, one did. I cannot explain to you why this happens, but I think it has a lot to do with the company and who's processing the payments. What can you do? If you find that if you don't have any other cards you can try, what you could potentially do, and I don't always recommend this, but there is the Dollar App card. It is funded by cryptocurrency. That's where the danger is here.
Could you use Wise?
I don't know if Wise would work.
Okay.
Wise supposedly would work, but I don't know. We do have a Wise card. I've never once ever tried to use it to pay for something, except I tried to use my Wise card to load up a balance on my Mexican Starbucks account, and it would not work. It showed up on Wise that it was in process of being paid, but Starbucks never accepted the payment. So I'm thinking Wise, it's in the same boat.
I mean, when I called our credit card company about that, the amazing thing was they actually went, "We are unable," and I went, "Whoa! You are able to pay it because we're the ones who are paying it." I said, "You're unwilling to pay it." And
so what can he do? All right, Dollar App is an option for you. If you don't have a Mexican bank account and you can't get a Mexican card, even a prepaid Mexican card, which you really wouldn't want them anyway because the interest rates are ridiculous, you could potentially get the Dollar App and the Dollar App card. Now, the reason why we shy away from it is because the Dollar App is actually funded with cryptocurrency, and cryptocurrency is not always stable. But if you only put enough on there just to make a few small purchases, and you're not going to miss it if something horrible happened and the cryptocurrency just crashed. It's an option for Mexican credit. And the only reason I mention it is because sometimes Volaris has special airline club sales where you can get
a year's travel.
Yeah, but they only accept Mexican credit cards.
Well,
and Dollar App works with them. So that's an option. But what you're saying, it happens, and we really couldn't tell you exactly the reason it's happening, but often what we've run into is it's just they're not processing non-Mexican cards.
Well, there is. I mean, some of them are not set up to do it. We had that
Right.
occur at an auto motelist,
Right.
and I had it occur getting a haircut one time where they only accept Mexican credit cards. You know, and
Yeah.
that's just, you know, they're not set up to accept it from the outside of Mexico.
So I mean that's your option. You
Yeah.
could, I mean, you could pay cash, which you can't do online, obviously. I know that Venmo won't work. PayPal Mexico is different than PayPal US. And I can tell you how I know this. I sent money to my friend Juanjo to pay for a concert ticket, and I sent it from US PayPal, friends and family, so there was no fees taken out. And I sent it to him, and he got it. Or I may have sent it through Wise, either way. But when Juanjo went to send money back to me because I couldn't go, broke my arm, he sold my ticket. When he sent it back to me, first of all, PayPal Mexico doesn't have friends and family. He's never been able to find it. So they sent it to me as a vendor. So I got charged a fee by PayPal. And then they also charged a fee that convert the money from pesos to US dollars. So I literally lost 25% of the payment when all was said and done. So I know PayPal doesn't work. Venmo won't work. Wise can work. I'm trying to think of how you could use Wise online, though. I've used Wise to wire people money. I get their clave and their name, and I just send it to them, and they get it. His audiologist, things like that.
Yeah, that was. Well, they didn't accept credit cards at any time. That was,
that's bank transfers.
Solo efectivo, or
bank transfers. I don't know. I wish I could tell you more since we're not really financial people, but we've run into that issue, and the solution for us is to try as many cards as we can,
and
hope that it works. I have been kicking around the idea of messing with that dollar app and just getting that card just to have it, not keeping a lot on it, obviously.
No, you have to basically look at it like you're walking into a casino.
Yeah, I mean, let's put $100 US on this, and if I lose it,
I lose it. But it's here, and if I need it, I can pull it out because we gladly would have liked to have had that one night when we were digging in the dash for every peso we could get because the auto motelist didn't take credit cards.
Oh, Annie, thank you so much. Yes, if you guys are just catching us now and you don't know our history, we started doing videos. Gosh, months before we actually arrived in Mexico. And we got fried a couple times by people saying we had no idea what we were talking about because we weren't in Mexico yet. We will be addressing that in the future, by the way. But we had about 50 videos out. 55 on things to do to get prepared for your consulate appointment, paperwork, things you got to get, everything you need to gather, the Mexican car insurance, if you're bringing your car, all that stuff. We did videos on that before we arrived.
Yeah, and how am I going to get my mail? How do I set up, which service to use for that? Why pick certain states over other states? If you bring in your car, then you really just limited it down to a handful of states because you get them on a state that you don't have to drive back every year and get an inspection. So there's all sorts of things.
Oh, goodness. Oh, I'm sorry I didn't go with my gut. Mexico relocation guide. It's a must. Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is. It seems like when you look at it, you're like, oh, that's a lot of money. No, not after you have it and you actually have these resources. And we can't reveal what's in it. Contractually, we cannot do that. Once you buy it, you have permanent membership to the group. And if you were to say what's in the guide specifically, you get the boot. So that's how she protects this, this material. But guys, it's worth it.
And we've been called on the carpet twice about that.
I mean, but it's so worth it.
Yes.
It really is worth it. And we used it a lot to get here.
Yep.
And now that we're here and we renewed our residency, We're not using it so much right now, but we will when we finally settle down.
Well, we'll
Yeah.
probably use it in Querétaro.
Yeah.
I mean, and just as far as looking up different doctors and things like that, because
Yeah.
all of that, she has in there and it's vetted. So,
Tom, 100K for your sunglasses.
I'll see what I can get when I get to Huatuco. I'm not going to hold out much hope.
Huatuco.
Well, yes. But
here you go. And yes, Dave, I understand. Medicare does work with Lakeside Medical. It's Medicare and specific supplement plans that you get with Medicare that work at Lakeside. The only caveat with Lakeside is that they have limited service areas. They're not a nationwide thing. But
well, then they're basically, I think, sort of in expat enclaves.
Oh,
so, yeah, and it makes sense.
Let's see. Orlando has gone through the roof. Social Security won't cut it. Oh gosh, no, not just Orlando, man.
Oh,
woo! Our rent in Asheville after we moved out for 6 years, he never raised our rent, and we were paying $1,500 a month plus all utilities and all the lawn care. Basically, we took care of the house.
Yeah.
And when we moved, he was raising it, I think, to like almost $2,500 a month. Like he was really bumping it up when we moved out.
Yeah, I'm glad we did all that work for him.
Yeah, well.
Painted.
I know. Oh, wait, let's get here. Sorry. Has Deltron called his card company to activate a travel notice? That has solved our challenges. That's a good one.
Sometimes that's it.
Sometimes you can. When I go online, and I do that, I don't have travel notices set up on all the cards because some of our cards, the travel notice can only be a specific window of time. And if you exceed that window of time, they're like, nope, it can only be for this many days or something stupid. So I don't have it set up on all of them.
No. And I know that the one, they were just basically, they're using somebody to process theirs that we will not do business with. And I was like,
well, it was our Capital One. They were,
and I'm like, excuse me, who's the customer here? And they were like, well, we can't do. I said, no. Don't tell me. Don't you choose your words carefully. Not you can't. You won't. You're making a decision for me. So anyway, I'll get back off the soapbox.
A link to my group here in Ajijic and Chapala and 8 other locations. Okay. Let's see. I remember you were going to send me the spreadsheet. Oh shoot. I get these email requests sometimes for the spreadsheet, and it's on Google Drive, and I don't understand why anybody is having issues accessing it, because I will get a request to share the doc, and I'm like, but it's publicly available on Google Drive, or so I thought.
Well, yeah, but they know where to find it.
No, I know.
I mean,
I don't. You know what? I hardly ever use Google Drive for anything, and that's where I ended up sticking.
And here's the problem. We had the whole spreadsheet done, then the computer crashed, and then
Yvonne Pavon is awesome. We can honestly say she's great.
Would you shut up?
I didn't say anything. Yvonne she's great. That's all I'm saying. Well, Fredo says you can call Yvonne Pavon.
I understand that.
Okay, so we're done. You can also get a work visa easy, and there are 4 requirements to have and qualify for regulations. Oh, okay. Huh.
Yeah.
If you wanted a work visa. I don't. But if somebody wanted to. If you got a work visa, though, you're not going to get paid that much. You're going to get paid Mexican wages, which unfortunately is not a lot.
Well, and some of us are too old to get hired.
That's true. There's another thing about Mexico that people need to understand. There is a lot of ageism, and it's not. They don't try to hide it. We've seen. Yeah. We've seen it on help wanted sides, up to this age, and you're just like. The people that we've seen panhandling the most frequently are elderly. Mm-hmm. elderly men and women, they're out at intersections with their cup, or they come to the house, knock on the door, ring the bell with their cup. Uh, I mean, they don't have anything they can do. You know, the elderly tend to be the ones. I'm saying elderly, and a lot of our audience is as old as we are or older, but
I'm going to say, I'm not helping dig this hole.
no, I know. But you'll often see people in their later years, 50s maybe, older than that even, who are the baggers at the grocery store, who are the people in the parking lots, helping you find a parking space, helping you back out of your car, you're helping load your car with groceries, offering to, I don't know, clean your windshields. And it's because
they're doing whatever they can do to help
Yeah.
to make some money, and that's and we used to look at it and go, really? And then again, back to the assimilate into the the culture. It's what they do, and a little bit of a couple monedas, and it's like, all right.
On Amazon, if you do not
That
see a
is
dollar
correct.
amount, it doesn't ship here. That's not true. I order on Amazon all the time.
You can't buy the product if it doesn't tell you the price. That
Oh, yeah. If there's no price, if
if you don't see a dollar amount, that's what
yeah,
he's saying.
okay, yeah. If there's no price, it doesn't ship, or they don't even have it in
Correct.
stock. And if you do try to buy something, okay, I have my Amazon account in the United States is the same login that I use for Mexico. Okay. But when I'm shopping Mexico Amazon, I have to make sure that I'm at the .mx site, even though I'm still logged in as me.
Mm-hmm.
If I try to shop at the .mx site and try to buy something that's only available in the United States, it will tell me at checkout that this is either unavailable to ship to your location, or this is going to cost you this much more in tariffs and fees. So when I'm in Mexico, I try to shop Amazon MX, and I try to make sure that the prices I'm seeing are peso prices. And I haven't had any issue. I've ordered from Amazon. I've ordered from iHerb. I've ordered from, somebody else. I can't remember.
Oh.
I don't know. And I don't have any issues. The payments that I have saved on Amazon.mx are the exact same payments. All the account information is the same.
Yeah.
From the US to the .mx. But if I'm shopping, I have to be on the .mx site, or it's going to tell me at the end when I try to check out that they can't ship it or something. Yeah.
They're just going by what the laws are, and
Yep.
If you're buying something that's already made across the border, you're going, okay, I don't have to pay the tariffs on it. Somebody else has already done it.
Okay,
so.
Listen, iHerb, look, that's where I get my collagen. And it's a good price. And I will order like 2 or 3 large tubs of collagen. And by the time you get them, you can actually pour one into the other and make a full jug. But yeah, I order my probiotics through them because they're hard to find. Sometimes my multivitamins because they're hard to find at a decent price. I even ordered creamy wheat because I wanted some cream of wheat, which has been difficult to find in Mexico, but they sell creamy wheat, which is the same thing. Red's Mill or something.
Bob's Red Mill.
Bob's Red Mill. It has creamy wheat. So I order that. They also have other things like essential oils. If you're into like interesting, maybe gluten-free alternative flours to bake with, stuff like that. So great. Mercado Libre is the best Mexico online shopping. Annie, I haven't really used them yet. I went on there looking for something I wanted, and I couldn't find what I wanted, and I'm like, I'm going back to Amazon. Eventually, maybe I'll try them. I've heard they were the best. Their delivery times, they are so much more accurate, and when they say they're going to be there, it's there. Where I have had Amazon come 2 days early, 2 days late, things like that. Yeah.
I mean, you do what you got to do, and part of it also is depending upon what you can find and what you're looking for.
By the cost. I will look up Vitacost. Thank you for the tip. Hola, Alejandra. How are you? Buenas tardes, or actually,
Buenas
it's noches.
noches.
It's noches now. Buenas noches.
The sun has gone down.
It has. Do you have your Amazon order shipped to your Airbnb? No problem with it being a temporary address. No problem at all. You should see my list of addresses in that account now, because I have to constantly change the address. I try to make sure that if I'm going to order, I order as soon as we get there if it's a 1 month stay. Otherwise, I wait for the 2 and 3 month stays before we order something. That way I know we're going to be there for a while.
Well, and the only time we ever had anything that we ever had to change was that one from Samsung that they shipped part of the order. It could find the address. And the second part of the order, we can't find you.
Yeah,
and it's like, hold on, you already shipped half of the order here. And so we said, no, just ship it to this DHL store and we will go and get it.
that was a Samsung thing.
That's what I said. Yeah. It was Samsung. We got part of the order, and the second part, they were like, we don't like your address.
Hey, we are happy that you made it. So
yes,
thank you. AliExpress is also very popular out here. We've used AliExpress. The problem with AliExpress, though, is that AliExpress is like you order something and then you forgot that you ordered it, and 3 or 4 months later it shows up and it's like, surprise, Christmas,
And which is no big deal if you're not mobile. And since we are moving all the time, we need to know when it's going to be there, unless we would, ship it to Annie Vet and Arlene, then they can just put it in with the cigars and go, boom,
Yeah.
But we don't want to abuse that service that they provide so graciously.
Oh, other interesting things about adjusting to life in Mexico. Men typically don't wear shorts unless they're in a really, really, really warm, all year long warm location, like
here,
Veracruz, something like that. We noticed in San Luis Potosí, the only people wearing shorts are tourists. And that might be true in Querétaro as well, honestly.
I don't know.
People just don't wear shorts. And they dress up more. They dress up more for simpler things that we seem to have lost touch with doing in the United States. Like the baby shower that was held in El Tejar, the women were dressed to the nines. Stilettos, tight-fitting, gorgeous, sexy dresses, false eyelashes, beautiful makeup, perfect hair. It's a baby shower, guys.
I mean, they look like they're ready to go to a wedding.
Yes. I mean, like they dress up. And even Marimba Park with the marimba dancing, that couple that we saw.
They weren't the only ones.
They weren't the only ones. And they were dressed up.
There were lots of women in dresses and heels.
And this is the thing that happens every single day of the week. They do it for 2 hours every evening. Mm-hmm. And these people are dressed up. Yeah. It's kind of cool. Let's see. What you got here, Carol? Wearing shorts is a faux pas in Mexican. Yeah. They just don't. I guess they're used to the heat. I don't know. But again, I think it's partly because they like to dress up and they like to look nice. And, they just don't wear shorts. Oh.
I'm going to be making a lot of social faux pas for a long time.
It's so funny because one of the things we did at the mall is when we went to the music festival, I can't remember what it was he did, but he ripped.
Yeah, you did. You mentioned it earlier.
What? Was that what caused it?
Uh-huh.
That's what caused it. Okay. Well, he ripped the pocket on the back of his jean shorts and it ripped a hole right there. And Mr. El Commando here, his bare butt is sticking through a crack above his pocket of his jeans. And so I said, Mark, you need to get new jeans. Well, jean shorts are not. My goodness, there are Levi stores here. We walked past some stores that had jeans that were way too expensive. We ended up in Suburbia and he found a pair of jeans shorts, one pair in his size in one color.
It was the right color.
And it was $20. out the door, but it was very difficult. We even went into a Levi's store.
Well, they had Levi's shorts that were A, expensive, and B, they didn't have them with the hemmed.
Yeah, they were cut. They were cut off.
Just, like somebody took a pair of scissors to a pair of jeans and just went zip, and I'm like, sorry.
Yeah, but even then, the selection was limited.
No, it was limited. Yeah.
So it's just not a thing.
We had to ask. I mean, for her to even find them, but it was.
Yeah.
No, sorry, I have to have my.
And I always look like I'm underdressed, except when I wear something like this, which I kind of like, and I have a blue one too. But I'm almost always in a t-shirt and athletic leggings. I always I think I look like a slob next to most of the women most of the time. I don't know. Oh goodness. Okay, Cindy. Thank you for the compliment. You have a good night, dear. Thank you for tuning in. I think we've pretty much hit the road on the topic. It's a lot of common sense when it comes down to it. If you're going to make a life in a new country, you need to research. You need to understand the differences in the culture and accept them and not try to change them. You need to plan. Mm-hmm. You need to make sure you've got yourself a good nest egg of money. You got yourself a roll of bills in case you have an emergency.
Just don't carry them on you.
Don't carry them on you. Yeah. It's risky, I would say, to lock yourself into a home purchase or a long-term lease if you've never been to that place. Because you don't know if it's going to suit you or not. So it's always good.
And the other part is the neighborhoods are different.
Yeah.
I mean, in every city we have been in, you have the barrios change, and it's like, okay, all right, now we found, when we reach that point, it's this city. Well, you know what? Now we got to find the neighborhood. So, I mean, all that is
night nature lover.
All that is things that you got to do.
Stay liquid. That's right. Yeah. That means you got to be able to bend where you normally wouldn't bend and accept things that you never thought you would accept. Enjoy what you can enjoy. Just take it in, observe it, let it marinate a little bit.
Roll with it.
Just roll with it.
Yep.
Absolutely. These are the things that, gonna check out your early prep video. So glad you mentioned that this evening. You're very welcome, dear.
Now, speaking of rolling with it, no, we will not be doing a live next Wednesday because we are actually going to be going from here.
Yes.
To San Cristobal de las Casas. And I keep pointing that way because that is the direction we'll be going. And we don't know what the internet situation is. I mean, if we have to put up Starlink, we'll put up Starlink and everything else, but we don't want to commit to next Wednesday doing.
Yeah, the internet situation is unknown at this point. We're going to get there. It looks like we're going to have some space to put a dish up, but we don't know if we're going to be able to access that space. It's up in the air.
We just don't want to commit to it till we get there and get boots on the ground and do everything. But see the last part right there, the Go Canes.
Yes.
Trust me, we will have some form of internet for Saturday night,
right.
God willing. If we win tomorrow night, because Game 7, if we take care of business tomorrow night, good luck trying to keep me from.
Got a video coming out on Sunday while we're doing our move. I've got some flexibility and some typing skills in this hand. I can't still not really use the mouse too well, but this has gotten better with the mouse. So I'm editing videos again.
Yeah.
It's a little bit better. We're not going to do a weekly live like we have been.
Hopefully, we'll be dropping videos back to our old routine.
We're going to try to get back to every other week on these lives. So no more weekly lives. It's going to go back to every other week, and then we'll assess the internet situation in our new abode.
And then the one that's coming up is Tulum Money. And
the one coming up this weekend.
And it's interesting.
The cost of living for our 7 weeks in Tulum. That'll be on Sunday morning.
Yep. So and Alejandra, that is what everybody that we have talked to all through Mexico, they all make the same comment.
Yeah.
That San Cristobal de las Casas is one of the most beautiful spots in all of Mexico. And so we got 4 days.
Indeed.
4 days, and we will be there. So we're looking forward to it.
Thank you for joining us tonight, Carol. And hey, and Stephanie, let's see here. We had to link our Mexican bank account to auto pay our Starlink. I couldn't get any of my cards to work. Stephanie, I ran into that I had my Capital One card from the day I purchased and then a year and a half of payments and never had an issue. And in one day, Starlink is like, we can't process your payment. So it happens. I can't say why it happens.
And it wasn't Starlink's end. It was
Capital One.
Capital One.
And I don't know why.
Yeah, we do.
Well,
I'm not going there again.
And I tried like five other cards until I finally found one that would work. So it happens, and it happens out of the blue because we used the same card for a year and a half without an issue. And I know Annie and Arlene had a hard time just ordering their Starlink for a while until one finally went through. So part of it has to do with their payment processor as well. Because a lot of people do have that issue with Starlink orders. So just, you're not alone. And there really isn't an easy answer. And I had to use PayPal when I ordered something from Office Max in Mexico. Okay. Well, at least they let you use it. I wasn't sure if PayPal would work, US PayPal. I ran into an issue also with, what's it called? Zelle. For the whole first year and a half that we were here, the first year we were here, I used Zelle regularly to send payments to his mom, to send payments to a friend of ours that reserved our room at the music festival. Never had an issue. And then one day it just stopped working. And they told me when I called them, they finally realized, oh, are you in Mexico? Well, yeah, I've been here for a year now.
But I'm doing it from a U.S. bank to another U.S. bank. I said,
but it's a U.S. bank that I'm pulling the money from, and it's a U.S. bank that I'm sending the money to. But you can't do it from Mexico.
Some of these decisions you just shake your head at and go.
Yeah. So like Zelle doesn't work for me anymore now.
Why? What tell me what the difference is. If I'm in Alaska and I want to do it, then that's acceptable. But I'm in Mexico and it's the same account. It's just,
All right. We're wrapping it up because it's been 2.5 hours. Goodness gracious, guys. Thank you so much for hanging around. We feel so blessed when you do. I know it's hard to sit for 2.5 hours and watch stuff like this. So bless you guys so much for hanging around with us. I don't know if we got into too much nitty gritty on the topic tonight, but we tried.
Well, as normal, we sort of go with the flow of where the conversation goes. So
definitely recommend, again, if you're looking into potentially moving into Mexico, we got over 50 videos on how we got started before we even came here.
And do it soon.
Yes.
That's the key.
Indeed. We love you all so much.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us tonight. We will have the video Sunday.
Yep.
And we'll keep you updated on what the internet situation is. And you can expect, if we got good internet there, 2 weeks. 2 weeks, we'll have another live.
Unless there's a Canes game that night.
Okay. Love you, Annie. Yeah. Say hello to Arlene for us. You guys are awesome. You awesome. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you so much, guys. Oh, hi, Russ. Hi, Russ. All right. Well, you work on it. Get yourself ready before you roll in, and you will be prepared,
Hey.
and it'll be smooth as butter.
2 years, we'd have
Yes.
liked to have had 1 year, and that would have made a big difference. But having 2, you got plenty of time to get all the details done. So, yes, we will
Have a good
be
evening, Alejandro.
1 hour each way.
That's right. And Debbie, rest up, girl. It feels so good to be able to make videos again. Like I can't even tell you. So I'm excited about it. I do need to rest up though. I try to do too much and then I hurt later, but it'll get better. I'm getting some movement. All right, guys. Have a wonderful night. We will see you in 2
2 weeks. And if you miss us, Sunday morning, we got the video drop.
Yep.